Do you find it hard to ask for help? Are you used to doing everything on your own? Is it difficult for you to let people in? We feel that it's weak for us to ask for help or to share our burdens, but it actually makes us weaker by not asking. We have to understand we've been walking up this mountain long enough on our own. It's okay to share now, and it's okay to understand that we do not have to do this alone. My name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach. I specialise in healing after narcissistic abuse, and I also offer twin flame and spiritual guidance. We think that we're stronger. I'm an advocate for independence, okay? We're all after coming out of codependent situations, but then we go into hyper independence. And I think that's our biggest problem. We've been put into hermit mode, we've been put into isolation because we've had to walk away from certain dynamics, people, situations. And we've learned how to be strong alone. And this is important. This is so important. But it gets to the stage where our walls get so fucking big that we fear asking for help. And we think it's because we're independent. I'm in this stretchy energy at the moment of this energy of I don't want to be on my own anymore. I don't want to have to do things on my own anymore. But then I'm like, I don't want to be codependent. This is such a fucked up energy. Like, it's literally stretching me into different angles because I'm afraid to lose myself. But yeah, I'm afraid that I end up completely alone if I don't let people in. And this is it. We can get so hyper independent that we end up isolating too much. And the thing is, we think that we're just in independent energy, but what we're doing is we're afraid. We're after losing so many people already that we unconsciously don't ask for help because we're afraid to get hurt. We're afraid to let people close. And that's it. It's like we're actually just afraid of getting too close to people. And we're afraid to trust. We're already in this energy of anyone I've trusted before isn't here anymore. You know what I mean? So how can I trust again without being hurt? And the thing is, I keep saying this to myself, it's better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all. And that is so important. You know what I mean? I've been really in this stretchy energy of, I've been getting downloads and I've been asking for help and stuff. And literally the universe is telling me and my intuition is telling me, you don't have to do this alone anymore. And that in a way scares me. It excites me and scares me at the same time. The analogy I have is literally, we've been walking up this fucking mountain, for so fucking long, and we've got a fucking backpack full of rocks. Literally, we're it's painful. It's so fucking painful. But now we're after meeting some of our soul tribe, and they're literally saying, let me carry that for a while. And you're kind of like, I can't let you carry this. You know what I mean? I can't trust you to carry my burdens. I don't want to be a burden. Another one. But I can't trust anyone, let anyone in, because if I give you my backpack, you're going to run away with my backpack. It's I know this sounds so weird. But literally you're kind of holding on to this pain and this heaviness because you're afraid to ask for help. You're afraid to share. And then you get to a stage where you can trust enough to let your friend or, whoever it is, help you carry it. And you don't realize how heavy that shit is until somebody helps you. And it's like that energy of complete and utter, you know what it feels like when there's been a weight lifted off your shoulders. A problem shared is a problem halved, and that's a fact. You know what I mean? I am so used to doing absolutely everything on my own. Absolutely everything. I nearly, it's only the last couple of weeks that I've really started opening up properly again. And, I've been saying this for over a year, that since December 24, my heart was about to close up completely. So ever since then, I've been trying to reopen again. But it's in the last couple of weeks, I've realized how closed I still was. Because, I was letting people in to a certain extent. But it was no, I still have to do everything on my own. It's my problem. And if I let you in too much, you're going to hurt me. And it's only in the last couple of weeks that I've literally let my friend share my burden and help me with my problem. And I'm just it's like a collapse energy. It's you're literally so tense for so fucking long, and then they offer to help you with carry the backpack for a minute, and you're literally oh my god. And I this makes me so emotional as well. It's such a it's such a weird feeling to not have to carry everything on your own anymore. And it's such a weird feeling to be able to trust somebody enough to help you. And it's this, like, the stretchy energy. You're literally you're torn between the familiar and the unfamiliar. And even though you feel so much lighter now, a part of you is still petrified. It's like, I'm vulnerable here. I'm, you know, like, it's like that backpack of rocks was your wall of protection as well. And, you know, in letting that off, you're literally opening your heart, and you're literally standing there naked, effectively. Do you know? And you're literally, like, showing yourself to the world, and you're like, oh my God, like, this is so uncomfortable. But yeah, it's so freeing as well. You know what I mean? And, like, I think this is what we need to understand, is it's not weakness to ask for help. It's actually with great strength. And that's the thing. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm stronger because I'm independent. I feel like I'm stronger because I do everything on my own. But the backpack keeps getting heavier. It really fucking does. So the more you take on, the weaker you actually get. And, you know, we've been led to believe that vulnerability is weakness. But vulnerability is strength. You know, sharing is actually strength. Allowing someone to help you is the biggest strength and biggest courage that you'll ever have. And I think, you know, we're so, as I said, we're so adamant that we're stronger alone. And yes, we need to get that independence and build a strength within us as well. But community, friendship, love, it's also important. And, you know, I just keep getting the download. You don't have to do it alone anymore. You don't have to do it alone anymore. And that makes me want to cry, because it's like, literally, I've been so burdened for so long, so weighed down for so long. This it's like an alien concept right now. And I know anyone who is in their hyper independent energy is, like, literally kind of going, this is so unfamiliar. This is so unfamiliar. If I get out of this box, if I let this bag off my back, if I let somebody in, I'm going to be hurt. But you're hurting yourself more by closing off. And this is what I realized, is I'm hurting myself more. You know, it's so fucking weird. And I said this already. I have a fear of being alone forever, but I've also a fear of being codependent and losing myself. You know, how does that work? Like, how does that work? Which is my biggest fear? Like, you know what I mean? But I realize now that I'm strong. We gain that strength through our independence. So through the healing we've done, we can't lose ourselves again. We can set healthy boundaries with ourselves and with others without completely losing who we are. There's that compromise. Do you know what I mean? Like, a part of my fear of getting into a relationship again is that I'll end up codependent again, that I lose all sense of self again. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh my God, I have to stay independent. But you can be in a relationship and be interdependent. This is a fact. Like, you don't have to do everything, and they don't have to do everything. You get to share stuff. You get to share everything. Share the burdens, share the chores, share the responsibilities. And it's like, I'm as I said, it's just a stretchy fucking energy of, you know, I don't want to give up my independence, but I don't want to, you know, remain alone. I don't want to have to carry everything on my own anymore. Do you know what I mean? And then it's literally surrendering to it and saying, you can do both. You can do independence and sharing. You can do interdependence. You know what I mean? You can be in a healthy relationship or friendship where it's two-way. You know what I mean? It's a two-way street. You know what I mean? Like, you're not just giving your friend or your partner your problems. You're not doing that. You're just sharing. You know, you're lightening the load. And then you do that in return for them. This is so important. Like, you know, they're not taking the full backpack. They're literally just putting some of it into their backpack, in a sense. And you're taking I know that sounds so weird, but like, you're evenly giving and taking, or giving and receiving. Do you know what I mean? And this is important because it leads to healthy dynamics. Do you know what? If you're giving too much to a friendship or a relationship, and they're not giving enough, you're losing yourself in that sense as well. Or if you're taking too much in a relationship, or, you know, you're losing yourself again. But you know, this is how we remain self-aware and mindful. Instead of being like, being aware of the fact that you're afraid to lose yourself will help you not lose yourself. Being aware that you can lighten the load without having to give everyone everything. Do you get me? It's understanding that there's this balance that we need to create. You can literally be strong, interdependent, while sharing, while lightening that load. And I'm still in this weird energy of, not being alone, being an alien concept. It's fucking scary. When we get so used to certain things, or when we get so used to living a lifestyle a certain way, it is fucking scary. And I remember at one stage, I was so in my independent energy that I was like, if I ever find anyone, or if I ever get into a relationship again, they're living out in the fucking shed. I'm not giving up my peace. I'm not giving up my space. But now I found someone that I actually feel I could feel safe enough to share or change my world, out of hyper independence into a shared interdependent relationship. I feel it's not that scary anymore. Do you know what I mean? And I want that change. I think when we get so stuck in a certain way or in a certain role, it's a fear. And the biggest fear behind interdependent or hyper independence is the fear of being hurt. That fear of asking for help, we think it's because we're strong. We think because we have to do everything alone. It's a fear of being hurt. That's why we don't let people in. And that's it. It's like, it's just this energy of, I have to do it on my own. I have to do it on my own. And once I don't let people too close, they can't hurt me. But literally the last few weeks, I've had to let my friend in. I've had to ask her, for support and advice. And it's been such a weight lifted off my energy. I'm in this tense energy, just confused over my situations, and I don't know what to do. But to have somebody just to talk to have somebody to give you some solid advice, it's so beneficial. And it's making me stronger because, a lot of what I've gone through the last couple of weeks is to do with setting boundaries and to using my voice. And literally, I've been shrinking myself for so long in certain situations. And, speaking to my friend, I can find my power again, and I'm owning my voice again. And then I do something that empowers me. But then 5 minutes later, I can go back into my shrinking energy, and I stay there. But then having a conversation with her reminds me, get the fuck up, you're stronger than this. And this is the thing. I do think that when we get into hyper independence, it actually makes us weaker. You know what I mean? You get to a certain threshold of strength when you're independent. But if you keep those walls up, you end up actually going in the opposite direction. So it's only really in letting people in, letting your walls down and being vulnerable, that you actually gain more strength. We're not stronger because of our walls. We're actually weaker because of them. And it's only in sharing that burden and letting people in that we can actually just fucking breathe. And that's all it is. It's like, oh my God, it's like the way, a lot of our tension is in our shoulders. I get a lot of pain in my upper back, and that's from carrying everything on our own. You know what I mean? And just letting somebody help you. Just knowing that you don't have to stress on your own anymore. You can literally, as I said, a problem shared is a problem half. Just speaking with somebody is the most beneficial thing. You know what I mean? It's like you really don't have to do things on your own anymore. And I think that's a scary thing for all of us that have been in isolation for so long. It's really fucking scary. But it's scarier to go the other way. It's scarier to get so closed off that your heart turns into fucking stone. It's scarier to get to, and that fucking happens. You might think that that's just a myth. It's not a fucking myth. Your heart will close up and turn to stone. You'll turn into the Grinch or the fucking Scrooge if you don't open your heart. You cannot give love without receiving it. And I was always a giver of love, and I was always give. But my heart was still closing. And I realized, how can you give from an empty heart? If you don't receive love, where's the love coming from? Eventually it's going to drain. You have to receive in order to be able to give. you're not going to be able to be, you're literally going to turn into an asshole if you close off from the world. And that's a fact. And I'm sorry, I nearly turned into an asshole myself because I was so closed off. And I got to the stage where I was literally saying, how can I not, my whole life is to give love. My whole life is to help other people. But if I keep closing up, where's the love going to come from? Because you just turn fucking bitter. And that's effectively it. So sharing our burdens, sharing our life, sharing our struggles, sharing just sharing everything. It's the most beautiful thing you can do because it fills you even more with love. And it gives you the energy and the strength to be more loving to others as well. So trust that. Really is safer and makes you stronger to let people in. So thank you so much for listening today, and I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. If you'd like help in your journey, please book me for a free discovery call today, and it would look more than to help in your path. Also, I have another channel called Lighten with Angie where I share a guided meditation every week. If you want, the info for that is in the description box.